had people asking questions in my last post about the relationship of the pelvis and the jaw and the pelvis and the feet. I'm going to go ahead today and talk about the pelvis and the jaw and that relationship. I was saying how there are fascia and tissues going from the jaw to the pelvic floor. Actually, you have fascia going all around through your body, but there's a clear relationship in even from the embryo, the relationship of the tongue and the pelvic floor. Think about it. It's the entry and the exit of your digestive tract. But in terms of how does that affect the movement and healing? If you've had a traumatic event where one of these areas were hurt or injured, or maybe as a response from an accident or something where you started tightening your jaw and maybe that became a pattern for you. So how do we untangle this? Not just through massage, not just through like something that will be a quick fix but only stay short term. How do we rewire the brain to change the pattern for long-lasting results and change, transformation? So just to give you an example, you can watch and then you can try that as well, either on your back or even in sitting on a firm chair would be best. So I'm going to roll my pelvis forward and back, meaning like if my pelvis was on a clock and being looked down from above, I could think of going from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. All right. So when I go down, my lower back moves away from the mat, and when it goes down, it goes down. So the lower back comes down. So when I'm taking this back. When the pelvis is going up, the lower back comes down towards the floor. So you see that movement of my pelvis, yeah? So now you can do that, and if you really release the chest and the jaw, the tongue, you're gonna sense and see that the head is responding. Now observe the difference, because the brain will change by learning through distinctions, and the change will happen from a focus, your attention, and then a rest. And then the transformation happens during the rest. So it's important that you just don't do this repetitively without paying attention and listening to something else or reading. You want to pay full attention for, it doesn't have to be a long time, just a short moment of attention, and you rest. Resting might need you just do something else. You go for a walk, or you just nap or rest for a few seconds and you go again. So I'm going up and down. And then now clench your jaw, your teeth together, and watch the difference, or feel. I'd rather you to sense it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. There's resistance right away. My pelvis doesn't move as well. So if you're a salsa dancer, or if you're doing any other kind of activity or sport that has a movement in the pelvis, if your jaw is not released, it's going to have an impact, and vice versa. So now, if I want to move my chin towards my chest in a way, like when you're just looking down and up, if there's a release, the pelvis will respond. You might see this, like my pelvis. I'm not moving my pelvis is moving passively from me moving my head. It's kind of responding. Now, if I tighten my pelvic floor and I move my head, do you see how less movement there is? It doesn't want to travel because I'm tightening my pelvis, my pelvic floor. So then I'm just releasing my pelvic floor and my jaw and my tongue. It's hard to talk while I'm doing this. And there's a better relationship. So how will that help? Whether you're doing Pilates, yoga, any type of even walking, if you can feel these connections and the relationship to them, you'll have a better movement quality, and it's gonna end up feeling better altogether. So another aspect I talked about was when you're trying to fix or improve something that is already protective, it's just gonna bounce back at you. So if you go through a place that is not protective, so if my injury is in the pelvic floor, I'm gonna go away from the pelvic floor, and there's gonna be an impact, but it's gonna be passive and it's going through the back door. You'll have way more impact and results. Let me know in the comment what you figured out for yourself. Thank you.